Atlanta fans, welcome to that Atlanta Sports Show. I'm your host, Jeremy, the Impact York. I want to welcome you guys in. Once again, this show is all about Atlanta United and, of course, the Atlanta Falcons. And they both have been very busy in the last week, and we are going to get to that very shortly. First, I want to tell you guys that if you want to help the show, you can send your questions, comments, suggestions, rating, reviews to all of the following places. You can also hit the subscribe button right here on YouTube, or if you're watching this on a social media, go follow the links, go to our YouTube page, go ahead and like that. That is at impact underscore media underscore, and you can be a part of the show. We got some new subscribers last week. We definitely appreciate that. Love all the interaction we're getting with you guys, and also you can find us. Um, I think the best place to find us, honestly, if you're not finding us on YouTube, you can find us on Facebook. Just look for Impact Media and look for this face. I think I'm on it somewhere. Or also, you can go to our Twitter page, which is kind of acting as our homepage at the moment. We are rebuilding the website. That should be coming pretty soon. I'm excited about it. You can go to our X page, rather. That's our X page. Go to the X page at Team Impact Media, and you should be able to find all of our content, the content we could get up on there. Like I said, it is the temporary home base between the YouTube channel and our X page right now as we rebuild the website. Lots of fun stuff coming. Trust me on that. Like I said, the Falcons and United have had a pretty good week, a pretty solid week. Let's start with the Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons have not only named a head coach in Raheem Morris. I think I remember a certain host of this show saying, of all the candidates that I named last week, Raheem Morris is the one I would go with. You should have hired him last time. No disrespect to Arthur Smith. I get why you did that, but this time you brought Raheem back. Definitely going to work out way better, I believe. So, for people who don't know, Raheem Morris, he took over for John Gruden in Tampa Bay way back in the day, and it went okay. I don't necessarily think it was a lot of him that caused that to go south. He then moved around the league a little bit, ended up on the Falcons staff under Dan Quinn. When Dan Quinn was let go, he took over as the interim head coach. And that's the first time that I said, hey, hire that guy. You should keep him on. Move the interim tag, make him the head coach. And I think at the time, co-host Reggie Walker, the King ATL, I think he agreed with that. We used to have a bunch of hosts on this show. I actually think Coach Hill might have even said, maybe even Cody Lice. I think all of us were pretty much in agreement that you should do that. And Arthur didn't ask our opinion. That's fine. I'm not going to take credit for what could have been because we don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have worked. Maybe Raheem had to go to the Rams like he did as the defensive coordinator and do so many amazing things like he did to be highly touted and brought back for the interview, ultimately hired. Sometimes that happens. People say that all the time. Oh, if we would have only known each other when we were younger, you wouldn't have been the same people. You had to go through what you had to go through, good, bad, or indifferent, before you cross paths with the people that you cross paths with. Just this is how that works. So Raheem Morris is the head coach. Got a little weird and philosophical right there for a second. Sorry about that. So we got Raheem. Yes, excited about that. So he started to fill out his staff because you can't wait too long. You have the draft coming up. You've got Senior Bowl. You've got there's all kinds of stuff. You can't wait too long. If you wait till after the Super Bowl, oh man, your guys were probably not available. They're probably somewhere else. He named Jimmy Lake as his defensive coordinator. That was one I was interested in the most because Raheem is a defensive guy. And you want to see, he's a defensive guy, but he wants to be the head coach. He might oversee the defense, but I think he's going to let his defensive coordinator, coordinate the defense and probably make the play calls. But Jimmy Lake, for people who don't know who Jimmy Lake is, he was the assistant head coach this past year for the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of Rams ties. That's a good thing. Go see what the Rams have done the last couple of years. These are good hires. And before that, he was the former head coach of the University of Washington, mostly during the pandemic years, I believe in it. I think he ended up 7-6. He took over and got let go into his second year. Um, I don't really think it went south on him. It was tough back then. He did what you could. But Jimmy Lake comes highly touted. Like I said, he was the assistant head coach for the Los Angeles Rams. Now, why that is, a position that you create it for a reason because you want this guy on your staff and you're already fully staffed. So we'll see what Jimmy Lake's going to do. I might get a couple guests on to talk some defense and things like that. We're working on that. I promise you guys. But also, you look at the offensive coordinator, and that is Zach Robinson. Zach Robinson, journeyman, backup QB. He played 4, 5, 6 years, maybe. He might have played longer than that in the league. So he's played in the league, played quarterback. And this past season, he was the quarterback coach. Means he got to work with some fun people like, I don't know, former UGA Bulldogs like Matthew Stafford, like Stetson Bennett. Heard of those guys? Yeah, they're pretty good. But he had to work with them. He was the quarterback coach and the passing game coordinator. While I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know exactly what that entails. I know he was the offensive coordinator, but my guess is that he worked with the offensive coordinator on the game plan and apparently the passing game part of it. Maybe in the running game. We'll see. But he was highly touted. You, the fans, have spoken. You not only like Raheem, you not only like Zach Robinson, you not only like Jimmy Lake. But what do we do at special teams? Because there's three facets to this game. There's offense, there's defense, there's special teams. What did we do? What groundbreaking thing did we do? And this is not in any way a shot because I really like this. How about we retain Marquise Williams, who's been a special teams coordinator for the past couple of years here? I think given another solid draft where he can add some more pieces to the special teams, well, this special teams can do some fun things. So you keep Marquise Williams around. I got no problems there. He was, I mean, there's some other people I wish they would have kept, but that is what it is. They're going to move to other jobs, just the way that works. You kept Marquise in the building. That's a good job. And I'm sure Raheem either knows him, knows of him, or he just walked up to him and said, "Hey, we very much want you to be a part of this. We want you to be here." And so he is. So there's the Falcons world for you. They're filling out the rest of it. They're looking for some other coaches here and there. They're going to start filling it from there. You go top down with that. You get your head coach, you get your coordinators, your three coordinators, and then you get all your position coaches as it'll come on through the ranks, and there'll be other positions and things like that. And we'll talk more about those as they happen. But good on the Falcons. I like all these hires. I'll be honest, the Arthur Smith one I wasn't so sure of. It's not that I wasn't a fan of the guy because I just didn't know much of him. I knew what he had done as an offensive coordinator, which is actually his current title. Just to kind of make this all full circle, the Pittsburgh Steelers have named Arthur Smith, former head coach of the Falcons. They have named him the offensive coordinator. See what that does. He was really good at that in Tennessee. And for people who said, "Oh, was he really that good? He had Derrick Henry." Yeah, he made Ryan Tannehill like a Pro Bowler. Ryan Tannehill's okay, but he's not a Pro Bowler, guys. He's good, but he's not great. And yet, he had Ryan Tannehill playing on a top level. What happened when he left? They got lucky that Will Levis can play. And they drafted him after he took such a dive and such a hit in the draft. I think somebody misgraded him, and he probably should have maybe been a second or third rounder initially. And then now we're seeing he can play, and he probably would have been a bottom of the first rounder if they had known he could actually play, which means they actually developed him a little bit. Something I don't think Smith did with Ritter or Heineke. The only improvement I saw seemed to be self improvement from them. It didn't seem like fundamentally either one of them were really improving because of the coaching or scheming around them, and it falls on coaches. That's by the end of the year. I told you guys on this show it's a coaching problem. It's talent is talent, and you got a lot of people. You had a lot of talent on this team. You got some people that are okay, but they still work. They're still, above warm bodies. They're actually doing stuff, making plays, and it fell on coaching to me. But brand new coaching staff outside of keeping Marquise Williams in the special teams. Once again, you get Raheem Morris at the top. Jimmy Lake is the DC, Zach Robinson is the OC, and Marquise staying on to do special teams. So, Falcons fans, be excited. Definitely be excited. I hope to get to as many games as possible this year, just like we always do. Hope to run into a lot of you guys. We'll talk more about that as it goes along. But first, they've got to evaluate all this talent and see, what to get out of the college ranks. To me, they should look locally. There's some people I think they can add that will definitely help their team, but there's people all over. Anybody can say that. But like I said, Falcons fans, be excited. Be very excited. So let's swap gears a little bit. Let's talk a little about Atlanta United. I told you guys they had a big week as well. They kicked off their preseason over the weekend as they played in some interesting weather over in Birmingham as they played against the Birmingham Legion, who is a pretty formidable team, by the way. Uh, they had to deal with some fog, a little bit of cold weather, some torrential downpours in the middle of the game. That was pretty interesting there. Um, but they persevered as they do. They were able to pick up the win 2-1. And how did they get there? Well, let's talk about it a little bit because the two things that I want to talk most about this game, the two themes to me, were the conditions. We just told you about the conditions and the continuity. The continuity of this team because there are some new faces. There are, and some of them are in new places. I'm not doing it just to rhyme, but you're bringing in some new personnel. Some other personnel are on their way out or transferred out or injured at the moment or whatever it is. So you got the new people that are coming in. You got the people that are already here. You're moving some of them around positionally, and we got a real good chance to look at Cohen and Westberg and Guzan. Rather. I'm probably going to call him 5 different things this year, but we got to see all 3 of them because I like the way they did this. Pineda did a really good job to me, as he said, you know what? I've got the personnel. I've got enough people here on the active roster that I'm going to have basically 3 squads. Each of them are going to play about 30 minutes, wherever the break in the action comes there. And honestly, it happened right at about the 30 and the 60-minute mark of both. Team number 1, let's go into that. Team number 1, that was majority of the starters and some of the new faces. That was Gregerson. That was some of the new ones as well. Good movement and calculated opportunities early. They weren't saying, oh well, of course we're in a different league from Birmingham. We can just run circles around them, and we are just going to do this. And no, they respected that Birmingham can very much go with MLS squads, and they do regularly do that. So they were, but they weren't laying back either. They were being aggressive, but they were being calculated and aggressive. They weren't just going to just throw a ball into the middle of the field and see what happens, or just see if their guy can beat the defender. No. I liked how calculated they were. That's the word I want to use, calculated. Probably say it 14 more times. Word of the day, calculated. Other than that, you get Trying to read my writing at the moment. What does this? Oh, the kick save that the Birmingham defender made early in the game. I don't know how he saw that. I barely saw the shot coming through, and I was watching from the TV feed where the ball was actually in front of me, where it was behind half a dozen things for him, and all of a sudden he just kind of kicks out, does kind of a slide, almost a slide tackle, and ball goes flying. You're like, that's a pretty good save. Pretty good save there. Like I said, Birmingham can play, guys. So definitely, definitely, we're out there trying to win this one. Yakamakis, Yorgos Yakamakis. He gets the first goal of the preseason. It was a great ball that started at the corner kick. The corner kick comes in. Corner kick is going to come in to the front of the goal. There was a little bit of melee, a little bit of stuff there. It gets played back out, kind of played back around, and then the ball finds Yakamakis, and he's just bang, puts in the back of the net. That's what he's good at, folks. He's gonna put up some big numbers. Um, if you guys play in the SDH fantasy league coming up, maybe Yakimakis is one you want to go with. GG in a couple weeks, because in certain matchups, that trio of goals, otherwise known as a hat trick, that's very possible. He's a guy that can score a goal a game. He can average scoring a goal a game, and given the team that's surrounding him now, it's possible, and it'd be a lot of fun. But they do get the first goal there off that corner kick. Just good play. It seems, if I had to say something, if I had to say something slightly detrimental, I think it's that sometimes they're passing a little too much where they should shoot, but also they are the pros. They're listening to Pineda. They're listening to each other out there, and they are seeing a different view of the field than any of us will ever see, because we're not down there with them. So I would almost rather them be cautious and do the extra pass than to willy nilly just start firing away shots, you know, like there's 10 seconds left. Um, Firmino ends up getting the second goal. Just great footwork on that one. He just was, that defender didn't stand a chance, and neither did the goalkeeper. His footwork is fantastic. He is going to do some really, really awesome things in this for this team this year, and that made it 2-0. That was around the 22nd minute. That was only 2 minutes after the first goal, so nice, good start. So you're thinking, all right, well, we got two early. How's this really going to go? Is this team going to fade late like it normally does? Which, once again, everybody's only playing about 30 minutes. So, team one, they're only, after that second goal, there's only probably about 7 or 8 minutes left of their day. Uh, Zonde Silva, he got a little dinged up. It looked, well, like a quad a little bit, but kind of like a calf. He come up a little bit. They definitely played it. They definitely played it safe. Good thing is this happened right before the subs that all came in at the 30-minute mark, so it was an easy chance to go, yep, yep, yep. You go sit over here, you get treatment, you make sure that you're going to be okay. Because Silva is bound for a big year. If him and Yakimakis can link up, that could be really good. Because I think Silva's a guy who can really uh, put him right in the middle of the field. 42 minutes in, Birmingham gets a goal. It was just a long range, just laser that careened off of a defender of Atlanta United. Hey, kind of stuff happens, What can you do? But that made it 2-1. Like I said, that was the 42nd minute. So we go to halftime. And this is squad two is in at this point. They've got about 15 more minutes to go at that. We start the second half. About 5 minutes into the second half, just a tremendous run from Lennon. He's able to find Saba, and they just met. The goalie forced him to go very deep, almost even with the goal, to to his right, which had been the goalie's left, and it only left just slim little margin that Saba could try to cross it back, into the goal, and it was just wide. Just fantastic setup. Like I said, it was all set up by Brooks Lennon with the tremendous ball that he found Saba just wide. Didn't quite put it in there. That left it 2-1 still. Told you guys that was the final score, so you already know there's not going to be any more scores. But the 58th minute, Tyler Wolf got a clean look, but just didn't get a lot on it. He didn't fan on it. He got a solid hit on it, but it didn't have much. I don't know if it was the moisture that was on the grass that slowed things down. Really not sure what it was exactly, but then it was blocked by a Birmingham player actually, because he just didn't have much on it. If he'd had just a little more on it, I think he had a really good shot of maybe hitting the goal. But he made it a little easier for them to clear it out. Super subs, all the subs came for squad number 3, mostly United 2 players and academy players, and they're really getting some people some minutes. They came in at the 62nd minute, which means, like I said, everybody got about 30 minutes. It's about what you want. Don't think there was any real big injuries, anything like that. But the third group played a little more physical. I don't know if it's because they're trying to make rosters or they're trying to show things or don't know. Maybe it's just how they play. But they played a little more physical. It was interesting that to finish the game, you had your most physical squad out there, and it could be the other two just weren't pushing as much. Those kinds of things happen in the preseason, but this just shows the depth and that United 2 is going to be pretty spectacular. They're going to play over there at Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw. Maybe we wander over there this year and catch some of those games as well. But other than that, Callaway for Birmingham, he came in kind of late, but he is a junior in high school. He's a junior in high school, and this kid is pretty good. He got out there, he got some minutes, he banged around with everybody. He did pretty good. I just want to call out the fact that Callaway for Birmingham, high school junior, that's insane. Most people on the weekends, they're out cruising around, going eating ice cream this time of year. I guess watching movies. I don't know what you get. I don't know what the kids do nowadays. This kind of stuff we would have done. But no, he's out here playing for the Birmingham Legion. That's pretty incredible. But as I said, 2-1 is your final, and conditions and continuity. I felt like the continuity was there. It felt better than some of the games last year. But there was a lot of injuries and a lot of roster churning and a lot of stuff going on last year to where it was hard to get that continuity. Where when you have everybody like you did this time, and everybody was set up in predetermined groups. Hey, you're in group 1, you're in group 2, you're in group 3. They all played as 3 solid units, and that just speaks volumes as to where this team is actually going to go. But that's going to do it for us this week. Another great edition of that Atlanta Sports Show. Check us out on Instagram at impact_media_. You can catch us at Team Impact Media on the X. And until next week, we will see you guys down the road. Go United. Go Falcons. Deuces, gooses.